you get a constitutional convention. Let's stipulate for the sake of argument that you get 34 states to petition Congress, and Congress calls the Constitutional Convention. Now let me quote John Yoo, a lawyer at Cal Berkeley, California. Sorry about that.
Berkeley.
Quote, "I support wholly the objectives behind Governor Abbott's amendments. But once a convention meets, it could propose any amendments it wants or even completely redesign the Constitution. There's nothing in the text of Article 5 that permits Congress or the states to restrict the scope of the convention. A convention, I fear, would engage in wholesale revolution, which seems to be the call in politics these days, from Trump to Sanders." Close quote. A runaway convention.
Two things. Let's work on nomenclature first. And that is, you said a constitutional convention. A constitutional convention is separate from a convention of states. We're not calling for a constitutional convention where we rewrite the Constitution. We're being very specific here about a convention of states to propose amendments to the Constitution. So the Constitution writ large stays precisely the way that it is. We're looking for just 1 or 2 points that we want to clarify in the Constitution by amendments, and that's what you do in a convention of states. Second point, the way that this should be done, states should pass a proposal to join a convention of states with 2 restrictions. One is a limitation of time, the other is a limitation of subject matter. The state should agree in advance. The only issue that this state, let's say Texas for example, the only issue the state of Texas is authorized to participate in a convention of states is issues X, Y, and Z. You're not authorized to participate in any issue that goes beyond that. And then they could, if they wanted to, have a trigger clause saying that if you act in any way that goes beyond this, your authority is dissolved immediately. Point 2, it should have a limitation in time. I would say 10 years. The authorization by a state should expire after 10 years because we don't know what the political dynamics of the country are going to be 10 or 20 or 50 years from now. And 10 years is arbitrary. It could be 15 years or 20 years. But I do think it has to have an expiration time period so that we are operating within the confines of our current political dynamics.